my goal today, as of now, is just to walk around, hopefully get some good videos and pictures of all the volunteers. I'm going to try and hit as much of the city as I can in different areas. So going to try and walk pretty quickly. And just show how much love is out here and has been for the last few days. Whether it's people giving food donations at the different locations, or people sweeping up all the garbage and debris that is still left behind. I'm going to try and capture it all today, and maybe even some protests tonight if there are any. Unfortunately, this is the side the news hasn't portrayed too much, is the community coming together to help clean things up and assist as needed. And here we are at they got looted, and obviously I'll get closer, but it's hard to tell how many people are just here at Target. It's probably 200 people with brooms helping clean up as best they can. It's incredible to see all the work that's being put into this. Leaving Target now, going to try and find the next hotspot here for volunteers. Very hard to say how many people were actually out there at Target specifically, or that strip there, but I'd honestly say we're probably 400 volunteers just at Target alone. So this is really incredible to be able to watch. Here's the area I was at a couple days ago. There's the building that was smoking. There are reports that individuals thought it was going to fall. Clearly it did not, thankfully, but it's hard to even know what these buildings were originally. I mean, the absolute destruction is incredible. And again, it's hard to tell how many volunteers are actually out here in this section, but I'd say it's a good maybe 300, and that's just right across from the Target down there. So you can see how many volunteers did come through. And it looks like there's some food here too for the volunteers. I mean, the dust is absolutely incredible over here. It's damn near impossible to know actually what this building was at first. You can see a fan over there. It's just loads and loads of rubble, and we'll take a look at the other side and everybody will be able to see which building this actually was. And you can tell there are arrows here pointing cars along this road. So back in the day, cars used to come all the way down here, drive along, kind of like what that car is doing there. Hope they know it's closed. Keep driving on the road, and here we are. Completely burnt. So at this point, what I'm trying to do is get a little bit of everything. Get some videos of volunteers helping out. Get video of all the wreckage that's here. Later today, I'm going to try and go to some of the peaceful protests, if I can find them, document that. And like I said, tonight I probably won't be out recording what's going on. But if I'm still here and can find an area where I feel safe, I might do that. You can see in the rubble, and this just smushes down in your foot, all this ash. Everything's charred. Still see the sign there. Here's one of the windows. I assume that's where you would pay. And here's that opposite side. And just brick upon brick upon brick. Crossing guard on the street there, telling people to watch their speed. He looks like just a volunteer. And then there's quite a few individuals with food. And this here once was an AutoZone. You can see a pallet jack there. This is incredible. All the auto parts there. Gonna head inside. I assume it's safe in here. I don't presume the building would collapse by any means, but you never know. Guess that's the risk of it. There's a staircase. And just rubble upon rubble upon rubble. Ceiling is crashed in. It's I mean, it really is difficult to understand the magnitude of things until you're here. I saw burning buildings on the news, but once you're actually here, I mean, you can't put it into words at all. Everything is just destroyed. I've got it pretty well blocked off over there. Looks like some fresh smoke. I'm gonna see if I can get as close as possible, but they do have a railing up. Ethiopian cuisine, and got pretty well damaged. Was able to get in on the other side here. This is the Ethiopian cuisine again. Let's see if I can get into all these buildings. It's an absolute mixture of, you see some insulation here, you see glass, you see stone, you see rock, you see charcoal, you see absolutely everything. And you see a truck, decimated. Interior doesn't look too bad, actually. And here we have another car. This time the interior is not looking too good for this guy. See the seats there, or what were the seats. Glass, I mean, this is completely melted. Still hot. Still very hot to the touch. That is, oh, that's cold, but this right here, that is very warm, and that's incredible. It's gonna need new tires for sure. We have shovels here that have been buried. This right here, be careful this isn't hot. And this is something you'd use to get ice out of a machine. This, I have no clue what that is. It's looks like a silver nugget of some sort. We have a radiator, a fan. We have a frying basket. Something you would use to deep fry food, still stuck onto something there. Have some metal pieces. This is just devastation. This is sad. There's the stairway. It would be really nice actually being able to go up there, but I don't trust that one bit. I'm not going to be that stupid since there's police tape out there and I just went on the other. We're going to get a little closer here. Put some glass down below. My God. Try and get a little closer still. Crazy thing is, all this is gonna have to be cleaned up at some point. Let's see if I can get this clear shot over here. Got more metal pieces. It's hard to tell even what this is. And there we have it. All the way on this other side. You can hear as I walk, just broken glass. I guess this is really what they mean by walking on glass. Once again, I haven't seen individuals be able to go in these areas, so this is really an exclusive first take of inside these buildings that nobody, to my knowledge, has been able to get yet. And there might be a good reason for that, because a lot of this might be unsturdy structure. So I'm probably not going to go too far, just for safety's sake. You might still be able to hear crunching underneath me of ash and different sorts of rubble. I mean, you can see that's still fucking smoking right there. That is still smoking hot metal, and that's probably why they don't want people here. And it's hard to see in the Snapchat, but you can see the wavy lines of the heat hitting the air. Well, on to the next location. Motherfucker, that hurt. Stepped on some nails. That's not going to be good. Let's see. It's bleeding. Oh, looks good. Oh, that fucking hurt though. Excuse my language. Look at those nails. It's the reason people shouldn't be out here. Like I was gonna say, moving on to the next location now. And of course, what are the odds? I went deep into the building, far down there, like I probably shouldn't have done. And right when I'm leaving, I'm at the exit, deciding to leave and go to the next location. I step on the nail, so that's God not punishing me. I don't know what is there. Right now I'm coming up to what looks like a donation area. There's a lot of diapers here. Water.
Yeah, no. Hey, does anybody want to help carry stuff inside to the front? We need some people to carry some diapers. Alright, just diapers though, nothing else, alright? Follow me.
You can see a lot of volunteers out here at the church. I'd say there are probably 200 people here, would be my guess. A lot of volunteers. And this is a very compelling juxtaposition. We have smoldered buildings filled with absolute rubble. Some of the most destruction you can see. And then, 300 feet away you have one of the greatest scenes of humanity you can see. Individuals giving back, getting together to make sure people are going to do okay these next few days and few weeks. And another very cool thing about it is Holy Trinity Church, where we're at right now. They were the individuals who I met at the protest a couple nights ago, who gave me the first aid kit to try and disperse the people. They were the first aid help, and they went to the next precinct as well. I don't know how that went down there, but once again, they said they've been tear gassed. They said they've been hit with rubber bullets during the protests, and they don't mind it. They're just out there running and trying to bump in case anybody gets injured. Post office right next to the church, so you can see how close the flames must have gotten to the church there as well. There's the Minnehaha Lake Wine and Spirits. And then here are the traffic guards I was talking about before. Got some Uncrustables up there. Over across the street, I'd like to see which group it is, but they're thanking Minneapolis for helping out, calling them Minnesota Nice, and also thanking the National Guard for their support and also the protection they're going to give us tonight. So it's nice to see the National Guard and the police get some credit for helping protect the city as we go on the 6th night tonight. So I'm gonna cross the street, see which group it is. I don't really do interviews with people. I'm not a fan of shoving a camera in someone's face and being invasive like that. I tend to do my own thing and get some faraway footage and extract information from people and then try and retell it, but who knows? People are literally just driving by on the road here, and they've got water bottles that they're handing out to people, just throwing them out if they need water. Looks like we have the National Guard out here too. It's really, really nice to see National Guards walking by and people are thanking them. National Guards are also handing out some hand sanitizer to individuals, give them a little squirt. And another individual just walking around with the cooler, handing out waters, because it's not too bad out here, but it's a little toasty.
So I would say glory, hallelujah, in the mighty name of Jesus, because this is the day that the Lord has made. And guess what? We wake up and be rejoicing in the Lord. Always. The devil thinks that he's going to oppress us, but he's not going to oppress us, because we're coming together as God wants us to be. One spirit, one mind, one body, doing the will of God. Our children do matter. What goes on for their children is going to go for our children. Our children deserve everything that their children got. And God said it will be one spirit, one mind, one body, one purpose. And that is always showing the love of God. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'm going to pass it back over to you, sir. And thank you, military and police officers, firemen, everybody, in Jesus' name. Not one, but everybody that's doing what is right.
They're murdered. This is about a systematic oppression that has kept a nation of people down for almost 500 years. And because of the ignorance of the people at the top, not because of you people here. None of you here are responsible for what's happening to my forefathers and my brothers and sisters today. It's the leaders that are above you. So if we can look at the world, if the world can see us right here today in little old Minnesota, where everybody says, don't y'all know there now? Oh yeah, and I was born and raised here, so I know, I ain't lying. If we can change the world from little old Minnesota, then imagine what the rest of America's gonna do.
So earlier, since I didn't record all of his speech, it was a fantastic speech, and right now he's still talking, but earlier he was saying that today is a protest party. So he says we're just out here to have a good time. There's going to be no looting, no violence, no fires. He said we might go home a little tired with a hoarse voice because we're going to be yelling and cheering so much. So I'm in out here. I haven't seen one semblance of violence. I don't know if semblance is the right word. I don't think I know what semblance means. But really just a lot of love. Just good vibes out here. Helping. There are people giving out water. A lot of food, a lot of water. And most importantly, a lot of love. And he also talked about a little bit later how last night he was part of one of the groups who was peacefully protesting, doing a sit-in. And they were shot at with tear gas and arrested by the National Guard. Later in his speech, he talked about how the National Guard is here with him today to help us celebrate right in this parking lot over by Target. So the message he had was if the National Guard can come together with him after he was protesting last night and they were shooting at him, then anybody can come together. And he says it's nonsense to be divided. So it's a great message, I think, and once again, this is unfortunately the sides people probably won't see of Minneapolis. Of the protests are happening, but the next day we're all coming together. There's a first aid station down there, he said. There's, once again, plenty of water, and it sounds like that's going to be the main hotspot for a lot of love. He said they just went out today, decided to buy some speakers, and just met people throughout the day who decided to bring some supplies here. And now they said they're going to build the stage. And they've got, honestly, pieces of wood. They have 2x4s, they have planks of wood. And there's no stage yet, but it sounds like they're literally going to build the stage. And we're going to party here tonight with some local artists. This is awesome.
Getting out of his car and issuing us a bullet instead of a citation.
Finally got my phone partially charging now, and I just want to give a quick recap of everything since I'm about to head home. Ended up helping over at Arby's for a while. The Arby's was completely destroyed, and there's nothing left of it. It was just brick upon brick upon brick. There was a ton of rubble, and so my two friends, Sophie and Elizabeth Boswell, who I used to work with, came up to the cities, and we ended up helping out Arby's. So there were about maybe 6 lines, and people were just passing it was just rubble, essentially. So there were either bricks or there was stone, and we'd pass it down the line and throw it in a big pile, and some trucks are going to pick it up later. But I want to keep pushing the narrative that it was all love out here today. I mean, there were probably thousands of people out here today, honestly, helping out. Everyone's walking around with shovels, dustpans, brooms, just helping clean up. People are riding around. There were a few guys in a truck. They were in the bed of the truck driving around, and they were just handing out water. They'd go to different locations in the cities. Toss actually looked like a family. Had some lemonade and cookies that they made, and they went over to the Arby's, and they were standing there. They brought a table, and they were just giving that away to people. There's the snap I had right before my phone died of the fried rice, homemade fried rice, which was incredible. There would be people with coolers. They would just be walking down the sidewalk. If you've ever been to New York City, it felt like that, where there's just you're walking down the sidewalk and there are random people with coolers yelling, "Hey, water!" But they're selling it, and these people here are just giving the water away. So you'd see people rolling down the sidewalk, just tossing it to people, saying, "Hey, you guys need water? You guys doing okay? You guys need some pretzels? Here's some food." Even just random cars, they'd be driving by and they'd toss you a bottle of water. And everybody out here today was thanking each other. You'd walk past somebody and it seems like everyone's just saying, "Hey, thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for the fried rice. Thanks for the lemonade." And it's that kind of love that you love to see, honestly. And so I'll be disappointed and angry if this isn't what I see on the news tonight when I go out here. It's just going to be infuriating, because there were a lot of people the last 4 days who have been doing this and making sure the city is being built back up and taking their time. And unfortunately, the news, I don't think, has been projecting that enough. They're projecting all of the violence, all of the looting, all of the fires, but they aren't showing the positivity. And I think that's where it becomes dangerous in society, if you just keep pushing negativity all the time and make it seem bad. There was one guy who got on the mic at the peaceful protest party, which was awesome, by the way. He started talking. He goes, "For the last 4 nights, I've been sitting at home watching the news, watching all the fires, the looting." And I'm thinking, what's going on with this world? I think my snaps are getting out of order, by the way, too. Right now, when I'm adding them from the car, because the connection's not good, but I don't care at this point. You guys can piece it together. A fun little Sunday puzzle. But he was talking about how he's like, "I want to see it firsthand. If I go out there and I see fires and I see looting, I want to be able to see that. But if I see people helping out and cleaning and giving back to each other, I want to see that." So he's like, "I came down and that's what I saw. People loving one another. People going to buy 1,000 bottles of water and tossing that to people. People driving by yelling, 'Oh, thank you guys so much for helping out.'" He's like, "That's what I saw." And he said, "I told my dad before I left I'm going to go down there." And he goes, "You're just asking for trouble." And he's like, he couldn't have been more wrong, because all I found here was good people doing good things. So, in conclusion, since I know this is getting lengthy, I don't know how many people are actually going to watch this far. I did get some positive messages from a couple nights ago from the reporting, so I was thankful for that. And also, if anybody has any questions, or I say things that they don't agree with, or things that are incorrect and correct information, let me know. I mean, I love talking to people about important issues. It's something we need to do, and you got to put your ego away and say, "Okay, well, what's the truth of this situation? What did I say that was incorrect or ignorant?" Right? So in conclusion, finally, I just want people to know that things are positive, honestly. I was able to go to and so after the last 3 days, I was able to go to the protest that did get, very violent. And I was able to see the destruction the next day. And then today I was able to see more destruction, and also thousands of people showing up to help out. And so being able to see those 3 segments, I can still honestly say that the love I saw far outweighs the negativity of what's going on with the burning buildings and the looting, because the looting and the burning buildings, that was a very, very small percentage of the people who were actually out there doing those things. I mean, the post office that got destroyed by, I think it was the 5th precinct. When I was watching on the news, I rushed out there because I was like, I gotta go see what's happening. And it was just, honestly, 6 to 10 people who were destroying the post office out of everybody else who was protesting that night. That's a crazy small number. I mean, 6 people, that's the size of my family. And so if you look at it, there are about 40, 50 houses in my neighborhood, maybe. That's one house out of the neighborhood. And you look at out of the neighborhood to the whole city of Plymouth, and then from the whole city of Plymouth to the Twin Cities, and then from the Twin Cities to the state. What I'm trying to get at is 6 to 10 people, that's a very small number, who were destroying the post office. But unfortunately on the news, when you see that happen, you go, wow, everything was garbage that night. The whole movement is garbage. Minneapolis is getting destroyed. The community doesn't have people's best interest at heart. And that's completely false. When you see the violence firsthand, and things did get very violent, and you see the destruction firsthand with, going at 11 a.m. the next day and buildings are still on fire and rubble is everywhere. And then you see all the love firsthand. It's, that the love outweighs it. Thousands of people showing up today. And all the peaceful protests that have gone on the last 6 days. People just don't get to see the truth of it. And then you hear people use this against the Black Lives Matter movement, like those 6 to 10 people who I guarantee were not part of the movement by any means. People will use that against them and say, oh, this movement's negative. Do you see what they did to the post office? No, I can tell you for certain that those people weren't part of it at all. So once again, if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, let me know. I hope you know that things are okay in Minneapolis. There are some burnt buildings, a lot of burnt buildings, honestly. There's still social injustice, for sure. Still inequality that will take a lot of time to be fixed, honestly. But there's a lot of love out there. Thousands of people who are peacefully protesting and giving back to the community, helping out. There's still a lot that needs to be done too, by the way, with helping pick up garbage, with all of the rubble. So please do what you can, and please understand that things are okay out there. Things are really, really good. Okay, one last thing, and then I promise I'm done. Please remember and understand that I'm just one person. This is just my own experience from what I saw. It's my own biased opinion sometimes too. Some of the thoughts I have could be skewed just based on my own previous experience. So please take that into account. There were thousands of other people who have been out there the last 4 days. So ask them what they saw. Hopefully they're sharing their same experience. So don't just say, oh, I know this guy who was out there for a few days seeing what was going on, and here's what happened. You can, and you should, but at the same time, you should try and get information from as many people as you can, because you can't just have one person say things to you. Tricked myself there, thinking I was done, but while I was taking a shower there, realized I had one more thing I want to remind people is that white privilege exists. It's a thing. And I'm hoping more people can recognize that and understand it and come to terms with it. And as a white person, I will never know what it's like to experience racism. There's no way for me to feel that actual feeling. no matter how hard I try and empathize, no matter how many times you say, oh, no, I understand how you feel. Oh, that really sucks. I'm sorry. You don't know how it feels. You can't. It's a feeling you have not felt and can never feel. And something that needs to be understood. So that's my last thing, is that white privilege exists. It's a thing. It's unfortunately very harmful. But people need to come to terms with it, start to understand it, dissect it. And also, everything I've said is coming from my own experience. Everything about the protest, the cleanup, the destruction afterwards, all of it's coming from my perspective as a white individual. So please take that into account, because that is extremely important during this. Because once again, I will never be able to understand or feel true racism.